Hi everyone, hope you are doing well. This is Amin Zehar. I'm an architect and interior designer, and I'll be your host in this video. The main topic is gonna be the interior design, which I'm gonna tell you some of its basics and principle. But first, we need to go through some concepts and explanations of few words that you need to know. So let's start with design. What is design? In simple words, design is the process work of creating things in the purpose of finding solutions to the problem we face. It can go from the button of your jacket to the handle of a car, or from the sculpture of frame H to an internet page or a sound. It's not just to make things look pretty or beautiful, but most important to make them useful. The design touches all our life fields. Houses, cars, products, clothing, music, everything, video games. We can say that it's a way of changing lives to the better in the most sustainable and sufficient way. Now let's jump to the second concept, designing. What is designing? Designing is the act that leads you to the final optimal solution. It starts by targeting a problem and trying to find a solution to it in the most sufficient way possible. It can be done by sketching, crafting, modeling, experimenting, discussing, making surveys, for example. Designing has to go through a process, which is an approach to break down a large project into manageable chunks. Architects, engineers, scientists, and other thinkers all follow the design process in order to solve a variety of problems. They use it to need the steps they need to tackle each project. So, how do we do this design process? Actually, the design process consists of 6 steps. First of all, you need to understand and define your problem. So, because it's really difficult to find solution to something you ignore or you don't have a clear idea about it. So you need to understand the need of the clients and the problem you are facing. The second step is collecting information. This can be done by collecting sketches, taking pictures, gathering data, making surveys, reading books, or maybe even looking for similar problems and how they got solved. The purpose of this step is to give you some inspiration and a starting spot. After this step, all your information have been gathered. Come the next one, which is brainstorming and analyzing. In this step, you begin to sketch and you begin to study all the information and the data you collected. So how it may impact your design, how this data is useful to it. After this comes the fourth step, where you focus more in your preliminary ideas, and you need to develop them more. So let's say you have to design a room. So in this step, you need to make like different designs with different colors or different patterns, or maybe different furniture disposition. So you got the idea, I think. Step 5 consists of gathering feedback. So you have to present your design and projects to as many people as possible. And I'm saying people, I mean professionals, teachers, or colleagues, so they can give you their insightful comments from their point of view. Sixth step and last one is called improving. So in this step you reflect more in the feedback and to which extent it should be incorporated. It is also very helpful and useful if you take all your solutions and all your design again through the design process, because you might have missed something or done it wrong or misunderstood the first step, which is targeting the problem. So let's summarize that the design process consists of 6 steps. First one is targeting and understanding the problem. Second one is collecting data. Third one is brainstorming and analyzing. The fourth one is you start your design and develop solutions. Fifth one is gathering feedback. Six is improving. Now let's jump back to our initial topic, interior design. Interior design is the practice of enhancing interior spaces in order to achieve a healthier and more aesthetically pleasing environment for the people using it. So as interior designers, we have to make indoor spaces beautiful, functional and safe by creating atmospheres adequate for the needs of our client, by determining the space requirements and selecting essential and decorative items such as colors, lights, vegetation, furniture, materials, and even sounds and temperature. When you know the basic principles of interior design, you can transform any space to look fabulous. You know the feeling when you walk into a well-designed room and everything feels cohesive and put together. That means that the principles have been well applied. So let's see those principles one by one, and starting by the emphasize. A room where everything gets equal importance will seems either scattered or boring. You need an anchor. You need a focal point to break the monotony of the space. Architectural spaces often has point of interests like a fireplace or a window with a beautiful view. You can choose to enhance this point of interests, these focal points, by arranging furniture around it. But in a room that lacks such a point of interest, you can create one by grouping of furniture or by using a large or unusual piece of decoration. There is a rule when using colors called the 60-30-10% rule. When you are designing, you have to pick 3 colors for your design. One is going to be used in 60% of space. It can goes on like walls, furniture, vegetation, lights, everything. It has to be in 60% of the space. The second color is going to be used in only 30%. But the last one, the 10% one, is called the accent color. It is used to create emphasis. Second principle is contrast. In interior design, it is very important to put elements in opposition next to each other by the color or the shape or the scale. It's important always to remember that opposites attract, and this is called contrast. When contrast is applied to any space, it can give life and character to any room. So go dynamic. Include high contrast colors and textures. Just mix and match. Don't be afraid. This design principle is achieved by pairing light colors with dark colors, or small with large elements, or textured with non-textured surfaces. For example, you can match dark color of a wall with light color of a furniture, or maybe transparent objects with solid ones. The third principle, which is rhythm. As in music, rhythm in design is about creating patterns of repetition and contrast to create a visual interest. The repetitions will create a flow which moves the viewer's eyes around the room. You can achieve this by using the same color or shape in different intervals, or duplicating elements or patterns to tie the design together. For instance, you can create and establish a rhythm by taking a color from pillows, then picking it up to a painting on a wall, and then using the same color in the rug. These repetitions will help to carry the viewer's eyes around all the space to discover it, and also helps to balance and unify the space. The next design element is balance. Balance is the distribution of equal visual weight by adding emphasis, contrast, rhythm to your space, and this will have a sense of balance. In design, balance creates a feeling of equilibrium. So it is all about equalizing or approximating the visual weight of elements into your composition as colors, textures, patterns, furniture, and this will create a feeling of stability and unity. Balance has three kinds. Formal balance, also called symmetrical balance, informal balance, called asymmetrical balance, or radial balance. Architectural and traditional spaces, as meeting rooms, for example, call for symmetrical balance, where we can find that the space is evenly split into two exact parts that mirror each other. For example, if we have a coffee table with two chairs, one on each side, it can be said that this grouping of furniture is symmetrically balanced. So, as you can see, it can be easily achieved by duplicating your design elements on each side. But if you're not careful, this kind of balance can be monotonous and boring. The next one is symmetrical balance, also called informal. The visual weight of colors, textures, lights, furniture is balanced, but without exact duplication. It is not as ordered and as the formal one, and it can be more complex and interesting. For example, if we have a sofa and we want to balance it, we can put two chairs on the other side of the room and it will be balanced asymmetrically. The radial balance can be achieved by if we have focal points with elements radiating or arranged around it. So, for example, if we have a round table with chairs and plates, this will give a sense of balance, radial balance, where we can find a repetition of forms, shapes, and elements. The fifth element is proportion and scale. The scale relates to the size of an object within a space, like the size of a sofa inside the room. When the proportion is about the relationship between two elements, or how an object relates to the overall context. Let's say, for example, we have a sofa and a side table. If the side table is shorter or taller than the sofa, it will be wrong. But if they have the same height, now we can call them that they are proportional to each other. The sixth and the last principle is called harmony. Harmony in interior design is created when all the elements of your design act together to create a unified and cohesive composition. It is when everything seems to belong to each other and fit together. It is about the pleasing relationship between the elements. They may fit the same theme or the same aesthetic style or the same mood. Important takeaway is that every single piece of your design has to seem that they belong to each other, even if they are not identical or to anything else. To create the unity and the harmony in your space, you need to, and this is very important, you need to choose an aesthetic style, and you have to follow it. In this way, it will give you the parameters of colors, shapes, textures, and in this way it will guarantee a cohesive atmosphere. So here we come to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed the lessons, and see you in the next video.